the Margrave must have been a complete idiot, let's face it, really. I mean, if that didn't ingratiate him to anybody, I just don't know what would. However, the other 5 are pretty good as well, of these concertos. And they all have a sort of subtext or a little story behind them. I've asked this for the last 2 shows. Has anybody in the audience never, ever heard a Brandenburg in their life before? Anybody? Anybody? Shout out if you haven't. So, excellent, sir. Excellent. So if this was 1750, the year that Johann Sebastian Bach died, he would be the majority. There might be one person in the audience who had ever heard of these concertos, and that might be somebody related to the Margaret. But it's an amazing thought that nobody knew these pieces when Bach died. When Carl Philipp, his son, wrote his father's obituary, he mentions the cantatas, he mentions the passions, he even mentions the harpsichord concertos, for goodness sake, but not a sausage about the Brandenburg concertos. Nothing. They were not known. I mean, literally, after the Margrave put them away in his library, when he received them in 1721, we don't know what happened to them until later on in the 18th century. And we know that one of Bach's pupils had the manuscript in the late 18th century, and which was passed over to one of Frederick the Great's sisters, who was actually a composer. She was a woman composer at the end of the 18th century. But they were not found until someone was rummaging around in 1849 in the loft of Maria Amalia's library, and they found this set of concertos. And it was the manuscript again was nearly, and it was published that year. So that was the first time that the general public knew of these concertos, 1849. And the manuscript was nearly destroyed at the end of the Second World War as well. So we're very lucky to have these incredible pieces. We move from the first of the set to the last of the set, which is quite a different matter. We've gone from this big, huge, rich orchestration to something which is, you'll see when they come on stage, is very special. And the message of the last one is a message to the Margrave that all things shall pass. We all die, whether you're nobility or whether you're just a poor servant, everything passes. And this is, in the form that this concerto takes, seems to be a very popular story, allegory, which was around from the 15th, 16th century. And it's the 3 living over here and the 3 zombies over here. And the story simply goes like this. 3 young princes, so again, that's a reference to the Margrave and his nobility, are out. The hunt is about to start, and they're out checking out the local fields and forests to see what's around for the hunt. And they're very happy, and you can hear that they get very, very excited about this. The 2 violas, top violas, are playing the same music, very fast music, at 1/8 note apart. So it's very, very excited. And they meet 3, sometimes it's skeletons, but zombies, dead, 3 dead things, who say to the young princes who are so full of life, "Your time is up." And you can hear them wagging their bony fingers, going, and the instruments reflect this, because the violin family, which is this side of the orchestra, the two violas and the cello, were the living instruments. They were very much alive and kicking in 1720. However, this side of the orchestra was originally scored for 2 viola da gambas and a violone in G, which if you've seen a viola da gamba, they have lots of frets, like a guitar. So they look quite skeletal. They look a little bit like skeletons on this side. So there's this living and the dead. In the middle movement, having been told that they're about to die, the zombies shut up for a little bit and let the princes think about the days of their lives. And you hear the cello literally counting out in quarter notes all the days that they have passed since they were born. And the 2 violas are being very wistful and thoughtful on top with this melody. This 4 notes. And if you trace the shape of that melody, it goes up, down, and up. It's the shape of a cross, which was a very common device, pictorial device in music at that time. And they think about it in this beautiful, beautiful slow movement. And then at the end, the last movement is a jig where everybody's really happy because they're dead and they're going to meet Jesus and the Lord, which is a very Lutheran idea. There's a cantata. Oh, no, there's a cantata. It was very, at the time, that was a joyful thing. Okay, you're passing, but you're going to heaven to meet. There's a cantata, if you're cantata nuts, Bach cantata, the cantata 199, which has this lovely title, My Heart is Swimming in Blood. But the last movement is almost exactly the same music that's in this concerto, and the text for that is, how joyful is my heart that I am dead and going to meet the Lord. So that's the story for number 6. And then you get a well-earned drink.